Thank you, Imam Ali, and welcome all to our Religious Freedom Symposium. We're grateful so many of you are here to discuss this important topic. My name is Stephen Collis. I am the chair of the Religious Institutions and First Amendment Practice Group at Holland & Hart, LLP, and a civil litigator with the firm. I'm also an adjunct professor here at DU Law, teaching courses on the intersection of religion and law. I'll be the moderator today, and first and foremost, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for making this event possible. In particular, we're thankful to our primary sponsor, Holland & Hart, for its tremendous financial and logistical support. We're also thankful to the University of Denver Sturm College of Law for allowing us to use these wonderful facilities. We're grateful for the J. Reuben Clark Law Society, and especially the DU Student Chapter, and the Catholic Lawyers Guild for their assistance in getting the word out about the event. We're also appreciative of Chipman and Glasser and Hall Rinder for their generous sponsorship as well. And finally, we're thankful for all of you, our esteemed guests, which include our Secretary of State and a number of legislators, for taking the time on a Saturday to discuss this very important topic. Religious liberty is one of humanity's great achievements. In those countries in which it has taken root, it has largely eradicated religious conflict and warfare, in stark contrast to those countries that have not provided it fertile soil. Here in the United States, it has allowed people in the most religiously diverse society on earth to live alongside one another in relative peace. And it has provided a framework for how government should interact with its citizens, including and especially those of minority religious beliefs. But in recent years, the rhetoric surrounding religious liberty has become increasingly toxic and combative, and both sides of the debate are contributing to it. Online and social media, even on academic listservs, those who think they oppose religious freedom have become more and more hostile. At the same time, many of those who purport to support religious liberty have become less and less willing to find workable compromises and have increasingly tried to use the banner of religious freedom to justify an unwillingness to enter into constructive dialogue about controversial positions. Both sides have resorted to winner-take-all positions on key issues, too often refusing to explore solutions that could provide justice for all. Recently, major presidential candidates and a number of people who claim to support religious freedom for themselves have called for a ban on Muslim immigration into the United States, for a database of all Muslims living in the United States, and for surveillance of mosques. Recent op-eds and scholarly articles have begun to question whether religious freedom is even necessary and whether it serves any purpose in modern society. Lawmakers on the right have publicly stated that religious freedom statutes will allow discrimination, causing people on the left to oppose those statutes, when the reality is that those statutes do no such thing and no court has ever held that they do. In many instances, the conversation has devolved into representatives from both sides achieving nothing more than accusing the other side of bigotry. Much of this current hostility stems not from actual opposition to religious liberty itself, but from a basic and fundamental misunderstandings by both sides of religious liberty law, its foundations, its purposes, whom it protects, and why. The loser will be the true principles of religious freedom we all currently enjoy. Today, we hope to dispel those misunderstandings, at least for those of us in attendance and those who are able to watch us on video later. Certainly, we should debate the laws and constitutional provisions that protect religious freedom. We should explore them and argue over their meaning and breadth and scope. But our hope is to ensure that that dialogue is well informed and well articulated. Our hope is to equip at least all of us here today with enough understanding to raise the conversation to one of constructive discourse as opposed to finger pointing and name calling. To do that, we've assembled some of the top minds in the field. I could spend the entire day doing nothing more than listing their achievements, so we'll have to make shorter summaries suffice. Luke Goodrich, our first speaker, joined the Becket Fund as legal counsel in 2008. Since then, he has represented religious organizations and individuals in a wide array of religious liberty disputes at both the trial and appellate level, including cases brought under the Free Exercise Clause, the Establishment Clause, the Free Speech Clause, and major civil rights statutes, and his litigation extends up to the United States Supreme Court. He also serves as an adjunct professor of law at the University of Utah's S.J. Quinney College of Law, where he teaches constitutional law. Luke today will be speaking on the importance of religious liberty and why it matters. Judge Timothy M. Tymkovich is the Chief Judge of the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. He has served on the 10th Circuit since 2003, and before that was in private practice and was also the Solicitor General of Colorado. He has issued a number of opinions touching on religious liberty law. Judge Timkovich will be discussing some of the key legal principles under the current laws so we can all have a better understanding of the current state of the law. Following Judge Timkovich, we'll have a light break with refreshments, and then we'll be honored to hear from Professor W. Cole Durham. Professor Durham is the director of the International Center for Law and Religion Studies and is the Susa Young Gates University Professor of Law at the J. Reuben Clark Law School at Brigham Young University. He has received multiple honors, including appointment as co-chair of the OSCE Advisory Panel of Experts on Freedom of Religion and Belief, and service as vice president of the International Academy of Freedom of Religion and Belief, and has published widely on this topic for decades. He will speak on challenges on the horizon and emerging issues that threaten religious liberty today. Finally, we will hear from Qusayr Muhammad Bai and Jennifer Kraska. Qusayr is a partner in his firm, a named partner in his law firm. His practice focuses in the areas of plaintiff's employment discrimination and constitutional civil rights litigation. He advocates for the rights of employees in the workplace and for the civil rights of all individuals against governmental and institutional abuses of power, and he is also an adjunct faculty member teaching constitutional litigation here at the University of Denver Law School. Jennifer attended the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, Minnesota, where she graduated with a double major in Catholic Studies and Theology with a minor in Latin. She is employed by the Colorado Catholic Conference, the state-level public policy agency of the church, jointly operated by the 3 Catholic dioceses in the state. In 2008, she became the executive director of the Colorado Catholic Conference. She serves as president of the National Association of State Catholic Conference Directors, a consultant to the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops Committee on Catholic Education, a member of the Federal Assistance Advisory Commission, a board member of Catholic Rural Life, and as a consultant to the Committee on Domestic Justice and Human Development of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. Together, Jenny and Qusayr will discuss what individuals can do to promote religious liberty in their own communities. Following each speaker, we'll have a short question and answer session. We have microphone runners who will be able to get mics to anyone in the audience who has questions, and we're hopeful we can engage in a constructive dialogue. I'm very much looking forward to our speakers' thoughts and to your perspectives and questions, and all of us who are in attendance today having an increased ability to go forth into our communities to discuss this very important topic in a constructive and uplifting way. With that, I will turn the time over to our first speaker, Luke Goodrich from the Becket Fund.